All right, welcome in here to East Texas tonight. A full-time mom who channels her creativity into hand-making personalized thank you greeting cards, balancing parenting with her passion for paper, pens, and design. Devendorf turns simple sentiments into heartfelt, one-of-a-kind creations that bring joy to friends, family, and a wider community. The inspiration behind her card designs, let's talk about that, and how she turns everyday moments into meaningful keepsakes. Sarah Devendorf, welcome in here to East Texas tonight. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm great.
Good. I'm so glad. Well, let's talk about how mom life meets creativity. You're a full-time mom. How did you first get into making greeting and thank you cards by hand?
I have two sons. One is the youngest is 23 and married, living in Lindale, and the oldest is 30. He is a forever kid. He'll always live with us, and um, this is my creative outlet for some of the stress and difficult things that life brings along.
Okay.
Um, I did 29 years ago. Got into crafting, paper crafting specifically, scrapbooking, card making, collage making, that kind of thing. And it has been one of the things that keeps me a little bit sane and gives me a creative outlet. That was quite the intro you gave. You summed it up very nicely. Um, I come from a family of makers. I have three siblings, two brothers and a sister who all live in East Texas, and we each have something that we make with our hands. And it's just been a very interesting kind of evolution of creativity and enjoyment and passion and making something that other people also find joy in.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you find joy in it. Do you think that this was something that you started as a hobby to just unwind, or do you think that it grew out of a need to share your creativity with so many other people in the community?
I would say both. It brought me, it widened my community. I have a bunch of online friends. A lot of people do this hobby, and there are lots of avenues for making it a business. I haven't chosen that, but many people have. And teaching, technique building, writing online, websites and things, and it's just been very given me a wider outlet for having a larger group of friends and people that we have things in common with.
All right, well, let's get to one question that everybody wants to know. Let's talk about the art and inspiration. Obviously, you have to have some sort of thoughts behind making a card. What do you think inspires you for card designs? Colors, patterns, themes, or do you think it's who that greeting card is going to? Do you think that that's sort of the inspiration? You tell me.
There are some cards that I make that are custom for the person if I know who's going to be receiving it. Um, my father-in-law likes some of my card making, and he kind of makes a big deal about it, so I always go overboard on his cards. Um, it's kind of just an acknowledgement of who he is in our life, and my mother-in-law also loves them, and so it's just a way to convey, hey, I see you, and I know you, and I know who you are, and this is kind of a love language, if you will.
Awesome.
Um, Most of my inspiration comes from other card makers. I find images and things, other pieces of art online, and then recreate it with the supplies that I have and with my own little twists and turns added in there for fun. There was a time during the pandemic I made a lot of cards and a lot for my neighbors and set up a little station outside my house. It was a little cabinet with doors, and so I would open the doors and I let my neighbors know that you could come pick up a card if you didn't want to go out to a place to shop. You could come pick up cards when you needed them, and it was a lot of fun. And we were distancing, but it was still a way to keep a connection, and it was very enjoyable to do that. One of my neighbors had a connection to Bruno's Pizza here in town, and Bruno's had a customer who was celebrating a birthday, a very special customer who loves their pizza, and she asked me at that time if I could make a pizza themed card for him. And I'd never done a pizza themed card before. It was a lot of fun and kind of pushed me creatively a little bit. And also allowed them to make him feel extra special during that time. So
That's so
I
cool.
and it was a good thing for everyone. So,
Oh, that's so cool. Well, have you ever had a request that kind of pushed you to get really creative or something like totally new that you were like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to make this card for them?
let me think for a second. Uh, I try to do themed cards for my dad according to things that have happened in his life in the past year for his birthday. And so he wrote a book, and so his birthday card had to be book themed, right? I just felt like that was imperative. And so um, I made a card that expressed it was kind of a checkoff list of things that were on his bucket list, and the bottom one said write a book, and then there was a little check box and a check mark in the box, and you open the card and it says so when does the next one come out? So it was a nod to something big that had happened in his life that year, and it took me a little while to really come up with to flesh out that idea, but I think he appreciated it.
Yeah, no, that I mean that's so cool. Let's talk about balancing life and craft. For some people, being a mom is a full-time job in its own. So, for you to actually go out and have something like this where you make greeting cards and thank you cards, do you think that, it helps you unwind and recharge amid the busy mom life?
It does, and I also don't sleep a lot, so that helps. Do this and stuff.
Okay. Well, have your children ever gotten involved or critiqued your work, actually?
Um, my youngest son owns a small business, and he has asked for cards to be made for his clients, and that was kind of a special moment. I don't think they really appreciated it as kids, even though they probably received far too many cards from my studio, but now they have come to appreciate what goes into it, and at least they claim to. So I'll take that.
Do you have cards behind you? Is that what I'm seeing?
I do, yeah. I have
Oh my
a,
gosh, can you show us some?
yeah, let's see, how would we do this? This is the most recent one I finished a while ago. Um, I could send you pictures if that would help, but
Yeah, no, this is great. Oh my gosh, look how cute.
funny. It's just paper and rubber stamps and ink, and um, there's that little glitter on there. One of my trademarks is kind of the sparkly part, and so I like things that sparkle. It's just a little Easter card and a cupcake. Let's see. Can't tell how well you can see that. Um, I try quite often to use recycled materials. Any little buttons or ribbons or fibers, glitter paper, old music paper, hymn books. I have a hymn book that I hope it's not a sin to rip up the hymn book because I do that quite often.
That's so cool. I love how creative that you've gotten with, all of these cards. It's really cool to see them in person. Oh my gosh, look at the detail on that.
A little bit of texture there on that one.
This is so fun. I don't understand how your kids, when they were young, weren't like, Mom, that's so cool. How did you learn how to do that? I was always like, a huge fan of arts and crafts, so I might be a little biased in that area. Whenever I was a kid, I loved to do like fun stuff and make stuff. But that's so fun. Have your children, ever just like wanted a specific card for holidays or whatever it might be besides work?
Oh yeah, teachers. I had several requests. Can we give a gift to the teacher? And you should make my teacher cards. I had a couple of teacher friends who said, "Oh, these are great gifts." So I always enjoyed doing that, and it's just been, there have been a few times where I was able to contribute sets of cards, like blank cards, for someone else to send out to their people in
Yeah.
like school fundraisers or fundraisers for a horse farm that we frequently go to, and So there's ways to make it meaningful and also advantageous for everyone. And
Oh, that's
I kind
so
of look.
cool. That's so fun. I loved getting to know, a little bit about your history and your story. Sarah, thank you so much for kind of showing us how you blend motherhood with artistry and showing us the creativity and the patience that goes into it. It's turning something so simple into something meaningful for so many in the community. So thanks so much for joining us here on East Texas Tonight. It was a pleasure getting to talk with you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure also.